2010 Infiniti G37 with airbag light on the dashboard. So here's the code I got. Sensors located right in this seat. What it does, it shows whether someone is sitting on passenger seat or not. And obviously mine is faulty. As far as I know, Infiniti does not sell just that sensor. You have to purchase the whole seat, and seat costs about $3,000 new. You could try to buy a used one online, but issue with that one is you might have exact same issue with the sensor. As far as I know, it's somewhat common problem with those vehicles. There is a fix available though, and it's a sensor emulator. Here's this sensor, cost about $80 to $90. So this sensor emulator will make this seat always occupied, which means during the crash, if airbags will be deployed, passenger side airbag will always be deployed, whether someone's sitting here or not. I believe you can install one of these things without removing the seat, but if I do that, you won't be able to see the process. So I'm gonna remove the seat, that way you'll see how to do it. I'll start by ensuring seat is all the way to the back, and I'm gonna expose this and I believe this cover. So you kind of slide it out. Here's one exposed bolt. Let's try to do the same thing here. Now I'm gonna remove those two bolts. Size is 14. Same thing with this one. Now let's work on the rear of the seat. Start by moving seat all the way to the front. Let's try to take this one out. And this one. That's also 14 millimeter. Last one feels a bit tighter than the other ones. Try to take it off with impact wrench. Gonna add pipe to my ratchet to try to break it loose. All 4 bolts are out. Now I'm gonna try to lower the whole seat towards the back seat. It looks like it's almost enough room, but I'm gonna push seat back a little bit. So now it's resting on the back seat, but now I have this area exposed. So this is the one we need. I'll just unplug and plug this in. And I'll get a couple zip ties. Gonna tuck this box inside here. Double check, make sure it's not gonna interfere with the rail system. Now I'm gonna put seat back in, start the vehicle, see what I have on a dashboard. Still blinking, so I'm gonna have to erase the code. For some reason I'm unable to clear those codes. I had issue clearing the code, so I believe the sensor I had was faulty. I messaged airbag 360 and they sent me another sensor. So let's see if it's gonna work now. Not sure if it makes a difference, but this one just in a little bit different shape. So I'll start by unplugging the seat connector. I'll plug this one in. Before doing anything else here, I'm gonna hook up my computer, start the vehicle, make sure there is no dash lights, check engine light or SRS lights. Alright, so this time I started the vehicle and no lights at all. Everything's good. It should be noted though, when I was troubleshooting the issue I had with previous sensor, when I checked, it automatically cleared the issue I had, but then it gave SRS code for communication issue. I just checked restraint system. It didn't give me any errors, any codes, so now I'm gonna do the full health report to see if there'll be any issues. And as you can see, it passed that SRS. ABS is just because of low battery, so it's not a big issue. So here's another issue. You got this sensor, everything's fine, you don't have airbag light here. But here's what you have. Let's say you're getting ready to drive. You're the only person in the vehicle. You put your seatbelt on, light stays here. And the reason is, what the sensor does is makes this seat show that it's always occupied. So since it's occupied, dashboard saying that whoever is occupying the seat needs to wear their seatbelt. If you're driving, most of the time if you're driving by yourself, this light gonna be pretty annoying. So I'm gonna try to find a solution here. And disclaimer is, make sure you obey all your local laws and regulations when it comes to modifying sensors, seatbelt, connector. Obviously don't do it just to sell the vehicle so that the buyer thinks everything's alright here. For me, if I'm driving vehicle most of the time by myself, I don't want this light bugging me. And I always, anytime I drive, always make sure all my passengers wear their seatbelts. But like I say, if you will modify this connector, make sure you check your local laws and regulations. So I'm gonna find the seatbelt connector. And here's the seatbelt connector right here. I'm gonna unplug it and see what's gonna happen. So that connector is unplugged. Now I'm gonna put my seatbelt on. Perfect. Now I have a clear dash. As you can see, no light here. So what that means is, if you're driving the vehicle, you get in a crash and there is no passengers. My understanding, because of this sensor, not just this airbag will deploy, but also this one over there. So full report done. Battery voltage abnormal. ABS, I'll just ignore that. I'll delete it and it'll be fine. But SRS, it's all good. Now I'm gonna put everything back together, make sure it looks nice. So this portion, I'm not gonna do anything else here. That's a seatbelt connector. This one, I wanna make it look a little bit nicer so that while you're driving, the sensor doesn't just move around. So I'll just use the zip tie here. So that should be fine. Now I'm gonna put seat back in. Gonna start with securing 2 bolts in the back. And once again, size is 14mm. Put this back in. Same thing, 14mm bolt. Good. Move seat to the back so that you have clearance for front 2 bolts. Let's start with this one. And the last one right here. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I think installing the sensor and disconnecting the seatbelt connector definitely fixed the issue. Like I told you before, check your local laws, regulations if you're allowed to do it. As far as vehicle operation, I don't think it really changes anything, at least for me, because when I'm driving and anyone else is riding in my vehicle, I always make sure everyone's wearing seatbelt, so I don't really need that extra reminder on a dash screen. Airbag's still working during a crash. Obviously now, whether I'm the only person in the vehicle or someone in the passenger seat, both front airbags will deploy, but I think it's fine because the alternative is to purchase new seat with that sensor, and that's about $3,000. You could buy a used one on eBay, probably a lot cheaper, but problem with that is if it's a common issue, you might have exact same problem as you had before. So I think getting that sensor is the best alternative. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll reply as soon as I can. I'll put link to that sensor in description of this video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.